Hi, my name's Rusty Goff. I played Little John in the Robots Are Showed in Doctor Who, and you're listening to Mark Who 42.
Welcome to Mark Who 42 here on Odyssey Radio. I'm your host, Mark Baumgarten. With me today are Trish Freyre. Trish?
Hi there.
Sorry, I didn't know where you went. You just disappeared.
I muted so that, you could do your thing, and for some reason, this new software,
Yes, we're using some new software to record this, and hopefully that'll make our show sound better for you, our listening public. So, Trish, how you been doing?
Oh, pretty good. Been quite a weekend.
Oh, yes, this weekend was quite a weekend. We'll talk a little about that. We also have Eduardo M. Freyre, the hubby.
Yep, and the good news is I did not get dusted by Thanos. I survived the decimation.
You know, that Thanos button showed back up on Google yesterday, so you could do all the weird things.
Yeah, I was bugging my coworkers with that. I was just like, oh, you gotta look at this! You gotta look at this! It's so much fun!
So you know what? They probably put it on earlier this week by accident, and that's why you couldn't find it when I publicized it. But yeah, it's cool. So if I don't know if it's still doing it, but if you go to Google, you type in Thanos, you click on the Infinity Gauntlet, you'll have some real fun. We also have Zion Kiros.
What's up, Mark? How are you doing today?
I am doing fine. Oh, I am doing so fine because Trish, Ed, and I separately, well, they got together, we saw Avengers Endgame. And wow. Oh my God, that was a great movie. What do you guys think? Without giving any spoilers, what do you guys think?
It was awesome. I mean, it was beyond awesome.
Yep.
I put it there up with Star Wars: A New Hope. It's
nice.
One of my new favorite movies.
Oh.
I just couldn't help loving it. And we'll have a review of Endgame in a few weeks. We're going to give you time to see it so the spoilers don't happen. But first, let's go.
Mark,
Yes.
Spoiler alert, Rosebud was the sled.
Yes, Rosebud was the sled, and Citizen Kane. Oh, it's such a lovely movie too.
Okay. Mark, you killed the joke.
I
delete that.
Delete the joke.
No. Don't blow the movie.
I know what I'm doing.
Don't just delete the part where you said Citizen Kane.
I'm not going to delete it because
delete it, dude. Delete it.
No. We can have this argument for the rest of the show. It's not being deleted. Citizen Kane was a great movie. I love Orson Welles. I have to mention it all the time. Citizen Kane.
No, you don't.
Rosebud.
You really don't.
Rosebud was a sled. Okay. And on this episode of Mark Who 42, we are celebrating, as of our recording day, is it International Superhero Day, Ed?
It's National Superhero Day.
National Superhero Day. Yay, Superman. I love you. All right.
Whoa, hey, he's married, man.
Just Superman?
Back up. Just Superman.
Well, no, okay. I don't love Superman. I just, in the brotherly love.
Too late. We're thinking the other thing. Too late.
But first, let's go to Mark Who 42 News with Trish Freyre. Trish?
Hey. Okay, so we, Endgame. This is no spoilers, but we got to talk about the fact that they absolutely crushed the box office this week.
I hope they did.
It's the biggest opening weekend on record.
Oh, really?
Yes. So by the end of yesterday, they had earned $358 million in 2 days.
my God.
in 2 days.
And that passes the record set by Infinity War last year, where they earned $257.7 million. So they beat them by more than $100 million.
Well,
That's insane.
I was thinking they have to, because with the amount of money they spent on this movie, the amount of money they spent on advertising, they're going to have to beat 1.5 billion worldwide box office to make any money.
Do you think it's going to beat Avatar?
I think so. I
Yep.
think it will.
It already beat Avatar.
It already beat Avatar. Okay, so there you go.
And it also beat the record set by Force Awakens for opening day. It beat it by more than 38 million for opening day. Yeah, it's they're expecting it to hit 1 billion just from the global total, just for this opening weekend.
Oh, wait a minute! 1 billion for the opening weekend.
Yeah.
No
worldwide.
way.
Oh,
Globally.
then they've made. Well, if they do, then they've made their money back, and they're starting to make a profit, and Marvel will continue. Because I was afraid if this movie tanked, that would be in the Marvel movies. But
in what universe would this movie tank?
In what universe? Right? In not in the Hooniverse. In the Hooniverse, it makes money.
Oh gosh, yeah. But Endgame for me, it was it hit on every part of the story that I wanted it to. I just don't see how they could have made it any better. I mean, it was at the end, I was so satisfied. I was just so satisfied. So, I think they deserve the money they're making. Yeah. I mean, if all this anticipation and build up and everything, and it had been crap, that would have been awful.
Yeah.
And hell,
yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited, in a few weeks when we actually do the full review.
Yeah, that should be fun.
And yeah, there was a moment there where there were a couple of moments there where I just full on roared. I didn't just cheer, I freaking roared. I was like, hell yeah.
I thought I was gonna have to pull him back down into his seat.
Randy goes, Mark, are you hard yet? I'm sorry.
All righty.
Well, so Trish, I sent you an article about, because this is a 3-hour movie.
Oh yeah.
And some people.
And that article was very helpful, actually.
Oh, good.
Because the article you sent me was about when to pee during Endgame.
Yeah.
Because it's a 3-hour movie.
Right.
And not very many people can hold their bladder that long. I did. So, but it was funny, even before the theater, because we went with a group of about 25 people, and I organized the whole thing and everything. And so before the movie started, I actually stood up and I told them everything the article told me.
Okay.
It's interesting because it gives you these 3 opportunities to go pee. One is about half an hour into the movie, which, I mean, okay, I guess, if you didn't go right before, which why wouldn't you with a 3-hour movie?
Yeah.
You might need one about half an hour in. And that was when, this is no spoilers, but just when you see the title of San Francisco. It's about 30 minutes in. And actually, I personally don't like that one. I think that it says that you can. I actually think you shouldn't. I think you should hold out, because you do miss some stuff.
But you miss some stuff, but it's a lot of piecing together of what you've already seen if you've seen all the movies.
Yeah, but still, I still don't think you should leave it that one.
But yeah, I gotta agree with. I have to agree with Trish. San Francisco, actually, you should stick around.
And it's very lovely what happens during that time. I mean, there's a very heartwarming, beautiful thing that you miss out. But it doesn't take away from the story. And that's
no. I think there's one important thing that does happen with San Francisco that is needed for the story.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
yes. All right. I see what you're saying. So stay for 30 seconds after it says San Francisco, then go.
Yes.
Yeah, because you need that 30 seconds. I do see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second time it says when Hulk, Bruce Banner, is having lunch.
Oh my
Now,
God.
they said you could miss, you'll miss a funny part, which yes, you will.
Yes, you will.
But you're not going to miss anything vital to the story.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you're planning on seeing it again, which,
We
I
will.
don't see why you wouldn't.
We will.
Yeah. Then, you can probably catch it on the second, third viewing or whatever.
Pretty much.
But, yeah. So there's that one. And then the very final one is when you see the New Jersey title card. When you see New Jersey, they said that's the last time that you can go. After that, you cannot leave.
You cannot leave. The last hour, if you a little more than the last hour, if you leave, you've messed up.
Yeah,
Oh
So,
yeah, and actually, I think even with New Jersey,
well, no, it's not
yeah.
perfect. These 3 spots are not perfect to leave. You really should not leave at all.
Yeah.
These are just the 3 moments where the story kind of rests for a little bit, and that's all they're saying. You should not leave the theater during the 3 hours. I mean, that's my opinion. But these pee breaks are, if you have to go. Don't, Now Paul Rudd said something funny. Go for it.
Yeah, I was going to say, or you could take Paul Rudd's advice, which he says, he says, just pee in your popcorn bucket and move on.
Yeah, I know. I have a friend who does work at a movie theater, and I'm gonna ask him. I should see him tomorrow. I'm gonna say, hey, did anybody take Paul Rudd's advice? End up running into people with Paul Rudd's advice. I mean, poor guy. I think he was working yesterday. And I'm gonna have to ask him. I have to be like, hey, did anybody pull a Paul Rudd? What did you find cleaning up the theaters? I kind of shudder. I kind of shudder to think about what he's going to tell me.
When I was 19 years old, I was an usher. I did not have that problem, thank God. But I hate to say it, an usher is just a janitor. You clean the theater. That's mostly what you do, and I hated that. Used to be an usher would take your ticket, would take you to a seat with the light. Back in the old days, and that's before my time too. But an usher.
But about a year before you started working as an usher, right?
Yeah, it was about a year before I started working. Let's make me older than I even, and I am old, but let's make me older. Yeah, Rosebud. Yeah, it was the day after Rosebud came out. And it was janitor. It's not a fun job. However, sometimes you get to take tickets at the box office, and that's better. But because you can, if someone's like 50 years old and they have gray hair and they say, I'm a senior, and senior's not supposed to be, they'll if it's a kid, that they think, oh, he is old, he was a senior, and you get to see the price. Thank you very much. That happens to me. So, it is. So I sometimes get the senior discount, and I don't care. I don't care. It gets me.
I can't blame you.
I can afford a little bit of popcorn. I can get some popcorn with the rest of that money. So I'm glad that I have salt and pepper hair. I'm very glad. Okay. Now it's funny because we're on the radio, and Trish, Ed, and Zion can totally see me now, because we used to not be able to see each other, and they can see me now, and they're They're probably laughing hysterically at my facial expressions.
100%.
Oh no,
God.
no, no probably about it. No probably about it.
Trish, do you have anything else in the news? I know Zion wrote something, I think, yesterday.
And this is kind of going over to this is going over to the Star Wars universe.
Oh, good.
Apparently, there's some controversy about a new Darth Vader comic called Dark Visions #3. There's an issue called Tall, Dark, and Handsome. It's about an Imperial nurse who has a strong affection for Darth Vader. And I know, Zion, you said almost borderline obsessive. Well, I went to the link and I read the whole thing. No, it was totally obsessive. There's no borderline there.
Hold on. Are we talking Harley Quinn Joker obsessive?
Okay.
I
read it.
So, but even though I don't know what that means, but go ahead. Go ahead.
So like, it goes as far as like, so she's a nurse to a Vader's personal doctor and whatnot, right? So like, Vader comes back from battles all bloodied up and bruised and whatnot. So like, the doctor uses these utensils to clean him up and whatnot, and she keeps the bloodied pieces of like his skin and like his bloodied utensils with his blood on it, and keeps it in a box. So, and like it gets to a point where like she keeps his tattered cape, and the doctor comes in and it's like, are you crazy? This man will kill both of us if he sees that you're stealing from him. And essentially, like, people took it like it was like a self-insertion of fangirls and what would happen if like they actually came in contact with the villains that they so
it is Harley Quinn Joker.
Technically, yeah.
It is. They've stolen that.
But should I spoil the ending?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, please spoil the ending. I want to hear this.
Since yeah.
So, it ends with her actually going into Darth Vader's quarters to see him, because she kind of loses it when the doctor makes her get rid of all the bloody bits and pieces that she's collected of Darth Vader over the years. And so she's obsessed and she needs to see him, and so she goes in to see him, and he ends up ramming his lightsaber through her chest and killing her.
Okay, that's not Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
that's not Harley Quinn.
That's definitely not.
Oh, wow.
And some people are, they're freaking out about it because basically they're seeing it as this author basically saying that all the fangirls that empathize with, villains like Anakin and Kylo Ren and everything, basically they're feeling like you're saying that, this is how we're all acting and we're stupid for acting like this because they would just kill us.
I don't know.
What are you gonna say?
I don't know. I don't know. It's like yes and no. I mean, because if you think about it, these characters are damaged characters, and that is and first of all, I don't think, judging from what I'm hearing, this character is not supposed, this character is she's a fangirl, but it's to the extreme. This is obviously an extremist. And it's not saying all fangirls. It's just saying, keep your, be careful with your obsession, because yes, these guys are, Kylo, Anakin, all these people, they're very damaged.
The author came back and said that it wasn't his intention to make it out to be like the obsessive fangirls. But then they pointed out, well, if that wasn't your intention, and also, it's also that that he wasn't trying to make her seem like super crazy, but that's exactly how she was drawn.
She was crazy.
Like every picture of her from here, she's got those wild, like those crazy eyes,
the wide eyes,
and everything. Yeah, and it's just, yeah. So,
like the best way that I can describe her face is that obsessive girlfriend meme picture from like 2009.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh, I love Mark Who 42 news.
Uh,
It's fun. It's funny.
Do you love it or do you love it?
I love it because it's got my name on it. It's wonderful.
Oh, so it's self-love. Okay.
It's self-love.
All right. Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
Very healthy for a growing boy.
Yeah, we just said how old I am. I think you've just counteracted what we were talking about.
No, it's called messing with your head.
Oh, it's called messing with my head?
It's called messing with your head, which as you get older, sometimes that happens.
That is true because I technically could for what are we doing?
Yep, see, there you go.
Yeah, I had a moment. I had a senior moment.
Wait,
It's
only
cheaper
one?
than a regular moment.
Damn. That was all her. Oh, I am so proud of you, sweetheart. I am so proud. I am a proud husband right now. That is just so awesome.
That's lovely. That's lovely. I'm ready to just cry. But
we will drink your tears.
And you will drink my tears. So what's going on with this Game of Thrones thing? No, I'm just kidding.
Wait. If we're gonna jump to another fandom, we better have one more thing about Star Wars.
All right, one more thing about Star Wars. Do one more thing about Star Wars because we're about to go to our commercial break. So do one more thing on Star Wars.
This is quick. So Galaxy's Edge is opening next month at Disneyland in California, August in Disney World. But for about the first month that it's open, you have to have a reservation to go.
Oh.
You have to reserve a time to get into the land. That's the way they're controlling the flow, so there's not a ton of people trying to get into the land all at once.
Well, actually, that makes sense. That's actually good because you were telling us a couple of weeks ago how many people they expected, and that's more than they could fit in the park.
Yep. And there's even rumors going around that they might extend the reservation thing through the whole summer, which I think is actually a good idea because 1 month is not nearly enough time.
No.
But if you have booked a stay during that month at one of the 3 Disney hotels in Disneyland, you automatically get a reservation. But starting, which is fair considering how much money you're paying to stay there, you should get a reservation.
Okay.
But starting May 2nd, people that don't have a reservation at one of the hotels, they're going to be able to make an online reservation to get into the park.
Okay.
And I bet the website's going to crash like almost as soon as it goes live.
Oh, please.
It's like Gallifrey 1.
No bet.
Yeah.
It's like Gallifrey 1. Okay.
Yeah, honestly, no bet, Trish. It's going to crash.
So specific details on how to make the reservation will be available on the Disney Parks blog and Disneyland.com websites on May 2nd at 8 a.m. Pacific time.
That's Thursday.
And you have to have a Disney account to register for reservation. So make sure you create a Disney account before registration opens at 10 a.m. Pacific time that day.
All right.
So cool. Good luck to everybody because I'm not going for a year. Good luck.
Yep, guys.
All right. Okay, thanks for the news, Trish. When we come back from our commercial break, we will be talking about National Superhero Day, which occurred Sunday. So that's yesterday if you're listening to us on our Odyssey show, which I hope you are. If you're listening to us on our podcast, you missed it by a couple of days. All right, so stick around here on Mark Who 42 here on Odyssey Radio. And just a reminder, on the weekends I appear on Doctor Who audio files on Odyssey Radio where we review Big Finish and other Doctor Who audios. So listen to us. Check odyssey1.com for our listing.
Don't go away. Don't go away. We'll be back with more Mark Who 42 after this.
I'm Jessica Martin. Mags from the greatest show in the galaxy on classic Doctor Who. This is Odyssey.
You're now listening to Mark Who 42 from the Whoniverse and beyond.
Hello, this is Barnaby Edwards calling from the planet Skaro. I am a Dalek operator in Doctor Who, and I am coming to you on Mark Who 42.
Welcome back to Mark Who 42 here on Odyssey Radio. Oh, we have a great show for you. You know, we were talking about Avengers Endgame a little bit non-spoiler-ish, you know, the P-breaks and how we liked it and stuff in the first half of the show. Yes.
Mark, spoiler alert, Bruce Willis was dead the entire time.
Oh, no. M. Night Shyamalan, how dare you? So, okay, was that a better one so I didn't give it away and I did? Okay. So, today that we are recording on Sunday, you're listening to us on Monday, hopefully. Today is National Superhero Day, and we wanted to talk about that. And I am going to throw the show over to Ed. Ed, you're comic guy, so tell us about National Comic Day.
Well, no. First of all, if you think National Comic Day, you're probably getting confused.
Sorry, National Superhero Day.
Yeah,
because comics cannot be superheroes. I get it. Yes.
Well, no, they can. Okay, you can have comics about superheroes, but not all comics are about superheroes.
Because Saturday is May 4th, and May 4th is Free Comic Day.
Yep.
And May the 4th be with you Day.
Yep. Which, by the way, I'm actually, I'm gonna be doing both. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Today though,
Sunday.
Today is Sunday. Yeah. Sunday. But yeah, today is National
Is National what?
National Superhero Day, and I guess National Superhero Day. There you go. So I guess I mean I don't know who started it, but it seems to be, hey, let's celebrate superheroes, and I can get behind that. I really can.
Yeah.
I really can. And actually, you know what? I think the best question to ask, first off is, okay, Mark, who's your favorite superhero?
Superman.
Okie dokie.
But not
the
Henry Cavill Superman.
I hated
the DC Cinematic Universe Superman because he kills Zod and he doesn't remorse enough. And I remember in the John Byrne Superman revamp in 1986 when he killed 3 people, not purposely, but he had to. He went on a sojourn away from Earth for a year because he was feeling really remorseful and he had to think about what he did. And that's how Superman worked.
You're talking about the storyline that introduced Matrix.
Well, it introduced Mongol.
During Byrne's run, there was a story where he went to an alternate reality. He had 3 Kryptonian criminals.
Right.
In the end,
executed
them.
In the alternate, right. He killed there, and then he went on his year remorse sojourn.
Yeah, like there was. I remember
but
that
was in the regular universe.
Well, I remember there was a buildup. Like he executed the criminals.
Yes.
And then there was just this huge buildup of him kind of getting, of it just affecting him to the point where he even had a split personality.
Yeah.
He was Guardian for a while.
To me, that is how Superman works. I don't like it when he destroys. I mean, really, Metropolis was. Everyone died because people were building.
Gone.
So many people died in that fight, and that's not how Superman works.
Okay, I don't have a problem with Henry Cavill himself.
No. I like Henry Cavill as an actor.
I think just Superman has potential. It was just mismanaged because it was just a bunch of mismanagement. I just remember watching.
Serious. It was too serious.
But that's the thing. I remember watching Batman v Superman, and when they flashed back to the Battle of Metropolis and they said the world's introduction to Superman, I almost lost it because Superman historically, for the longest time, Superman is supposed to be this symbol of hope for the DCU. So to introduce him, to have his introduction to the world be basically this, basically this stand-in for 9/11, I'm just like,
Yeah.
you're killing it. You are freaking killing it. You are killing the idea of Superman in this, honestly, this whole sort of, well, let's try to do things a bit more serious, and let's put a more realistic spin. And it's like that's the thing. I mean, this is a little segue that I'm getting into. One of the things that I've always liked about superhero comics and the whole superhero world is, yeah, you can do allegories to what's going on now, but one of the great things is the sense of escapism. The sense that it was somebody complaining about, I think Zack Snyder was complaining about people complaining about Batman killing in Batman versus Superman, and he's like, stop living in a fantasy world. It's like, dude,
that's why Marvel.
Too late, because you're dealing. You're dealing. Well, that's the thing. You're dealing with a world where a man can fly. You are dealing with a world where the character you were just whose actions you were just trying to justify apparently is rich enough that he has a cave full of goodies. You're dealing with somebody who can run and break the speed of sound. You're in a world where people can have rings that can create whatever the hell they're thinking of. It's like that ship has already sailed.
100%.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why the Marvel Cinematic Universe works so much better, because it's escapism. It's pure escapism. When they went Guardians of the Galaxy and they started going complete comedy, that worked too. And then Thor Ragnarok, comedy, that worked. It was lighthearted.
Well, again,
it was escapism.
You're talking about a universe where you have an alien creature which looks like a talking raccoon.
Yeah.
Why are you supposed to take that and be like, we're going to treat this seriously? No, you don't have to.
It's escapism. I like movies where I can enjoy myself. That's why I'm not a big horror movie fan anymore. I used to be, but I'm not a big horror movie fan because it's not escapism. It's depressing.
Well, horror movies, that's like another topic for another time. Although when it comes to horror, I'm more about being cerebral than I am, that I am. But
let's go back to comics. All right.
But yeah, back to comics.
Superheroes.
Zion.
Yes.
So so we got Mark's favorite. What's your favorite superhero?
Okay, I don't have a specific favorite superhero. I can't separate them. My favorite superheroes are the Fantastic Four. Just the entire group.
There you go. All right.
I can't separate them at all. Each time I try, it's just like the comics. It just doesn't work. You have to keep them together. And like, I like the Fantastic Four mostly because I grew up watching one of the old shows with my mom and my uncle and whatnot, and like it was so cheesy, and I still loved it because it was so science and spacey. And the movies came out, and the first one I enjoyed it for what it was.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Did you see the Roger Corman one that they did that never got really released because
the one from '94?
Yeah, the one that they did because they wanted to keep the copyright.
Not yet, no.
Okay, that movie is a Roger Corman movie, so it's a piece of crap, but it's still good. But it's still good. Roger Corman is a great director, great producer. His films are, in a way, kind of crappy, but he is a master, and he's started a lot of directors that are in the mainstream going. Martin Scorsese, I think, worked for Roger Corman. So John Landis worked for Roger Corman. So Roger Corman is a genius when it comes to low-budget films. And this Fantastic Four was the lowest budget Fantastic Four you could ever imagine. And you know what? I still liked it. And then when they did the ones with Michael Chiklis as the Thing, I liked the first one.
This is one of those things where looking at things through the benefit of hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
okay, the two Michael Chiklis, Chris Evans, Jessica Alba,
Chris
those two
Evans
movies.
as Captain America as
Yep.
Johnny Storm.
Tony Storm.
And it worked.
Yep.
It
yeah.
worked.
And here's the thing. It's like those movies weren't perfect. They were flawed, but looking at them now, especially now that we've had Fan 4 Stick, which it's funny you should mention horror. That it's like looking at it, it's like they were flawed, but they got closer than freaking Fan 4 Stick did. Which, by the way, that movie, it's like, what were you? It's the same problem that the DCEU movies had, which was, it's like, why did you? It was this. It felt like whoever was trying to do, whoever was like behind the, whether it was the studio, whether it was the director, whether it was a combination, it felt like they were, going the wrong way because they were acting like you were working with something broken.
Yeah.
And the concept is not broken.
No.
And it's like, if that's not how if that's not how they were working, then please, explain to me how you could end up with this, because that just, honestly, that movie is just god. Like, if I could do a time trip, if I could do an Endgame style time trip and get rid of
no spoilers.
Get rid of it,
no spoilers.
for sure. I would, if I could do like Deadpool in Deadpool 2 and just
Yeah.
use Cable's time machine, and like they have, here's the script for the Fantastic Four movie, and then just like show up with a match and go, oh man, oh no, I'm sorry, oh man, it burned, oh I'm so sorry, was that your only copy? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Sorry you have to start from scratch.
This is not going to happen, but wouldn't it be great for Phase 4 of Marvel Cinematic Universe to open with Fantastic Four?
I was just about to get there. So
That would be.
do you want to hear how I would do it?
How would you do it?
The way that I would do it would be like, how Sentry's origin story was, where he was essentially displaced from all of history, but he was always there, from like the Kree Skull War to Mr. Fantastic's and Susan's wedding to everything, but he just wasn't there. But you just give that to the Fantastic Four. It would make sense, because that's a very, very big, hard sciencey thing that you can honestly science the hell out of and make it into a Fantastic Four thing. And from there on, they just literally are just there. They don't have to catch up on anything or anything. They're just there.
Well, I would almost like a reboot. I would almost like a reboot.
Well, I honestly, I do. I had an idea for the Fantastic Four, although it's probably not doable like now.
Mm-hmm.
But what would be really cool is, my thought would be, you set it in the 80s, because you have two things that happened in the 80s that could work with the story of the Fantastic Four.
What?
The first thing is the space race.
Yes.
We were still in the. Well, but by the 80s, you still It started in the 60s, but by the 80s, you still had it. You had the shuttle. You had
There was but there was no real race between the Soviet Union and the U.S. after.
But there's still but space was still on people's consciousness. And here's the thing, because one of the key things about the Fantastic Four was that their space flight, classically their space flight was unauthorized.
Right.
So how do you tie this in? Because what happened in '86? That
Challenger.
was like a Challenger. So basically, you have, here's Reed. He's ready to go into space. The Challenger blows up. NASA's like, okay, we can't do this. Which then leads me, and then of course, how does the Fantastic Four get the go ahead to do their thing? Well, what should be around in the Marvel Cinematic Universe by this time? What agency could all of a sudden pop up out of nowhere and be
Shield.
Yep, you have S.H.I.E.L.D. In fact, actually, I was like, in my head, what would be cool is who, and it ties into the rest of the MCU, because who goes up to Reed Richards and goes, hey, maybe S.H.I.E.L.D. could fund it. I've been working with these guys. It's really cool. Henry Pym. You have a cameo by Henry Pym, and this could be Henry before he had the falling out with S.H.I.E.L.D., before the whole thing with Janet.
Yeah.
So you have them, And then there's another thing that we had still going in the 1980s that could be a part of the story, which also started decades before.
Okay. Go ahead.
The Cold War. We were still in the Cold War.
We were.
Mind you, by the end of the 80s, it was thawing out, but we're still in the Cold War, and that is one of the ways you bring in one of the most. This is one of the ways you bring in one of the most classic villains in the Marvel universe, a villain who has yet to be handled correctly in movies, Doctor Doom.
Honestly,
I have an idea.
Well, here's the thing, because where's Doctor Doom based out of?
Latveria, which
right,
would be
he
part
rules
of Russia.
Latveria, and exactly. So there you go. You have a way to bring him in because how do you you have you have this megalomaniacal supervillain who thinks it's his destiny to rule the world.
Is he a villain though?
Well,
he's a leader.
Tell you what.
He's a leader of a nation that he does want to rule the world, but he wants to do it.
All right, tell you what. Let's not use the word villain. Villain. Let's use the word antagonist.
Yes. Okay. I will use that word.
Yeah, antagonist. But then here's the thing. This is one of the ways you bring him in, because one of the ways that the Fantastic Four can have a problem with Doom is that you have the U.S. State Department kind of like, Doom may be iffy, but wait, he's an Eastern European country that is not part of the Soviet bloc, so we may want to try to cut a deal with him, because then we have a way of stopping, Soviet aggression, because Latveria is right there.
Yeah. Well,
see, so I mean, right there, you have stuff that you could work with.
If you went with the space shuttle in the 80s, what could happen is that they find that there are these cosmic go back to the origin story, for God's sake. Reed Richards and his people go take a shuttle up to find out about the cosmic rays and let the story take place as if it was in the original story. The shuttle crashes and then they find out they have powers and just go with the original story. The original story works. It still works. You can move it to the 80s, use a shuttle, experiment on cosmic rays.
But then or basically, like, if you don't want to set it in the 80s, if you want the Fantastic Four to be contemporary, I always said, for me, my dream end credit sequence would be you have Peter Parker exiting an elevator. He's in a building, he's exiting an elevator. You kind of don't see what he's seeing. He's just like, he has like he just awkwardly, he's like, hello, is anybody there? I was told I should come see you. Pepper Potts said I should come see you. And then what happens is a hand kind of comes from off camera, and it's like, Peter just kind of stares at it, shakes it. The camera pans, and you can see the hand is really outstretched. It keeps panning, like following the hand until it gets to like a guy in a lab coat, and it just zooms in on his face as he goes, nice to meet you, Mr. Parker. Welcome to the Baxter Building. My name is Dr. Reed Richards. How can I help you?
I would lose it. I honestly would lose it.
And you must have the mailman. You must have
Willie Lumpkin.
You must have Willie Lumpkin in this movie.
Oh man, honestly, I'm trying to think, because something that the 2000 Fantastic Four movies did right was the fact they had Stan Lee as Willie Lumpkin.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
who do that anymore?
Because now I'm just like, oh man, who do you pull out to be Willie Lumpkin? Because Stan's gone, Jack is gone, and it's just like, who can you pull out that would feel right? Who can you pull out to be right? Although, here's a question for you guys. Here's a question, because we're on
comic. We're on Superhero Day.
We're on superheroes, and we're talking the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
Who do you cast as Doctor Doom?
Give me 1 second to think about that.
Yeah, Doctor Doom, because you're not going to see his face for too long. So, but you want it to be a big name. Liam Neeson. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
the guy who played Snoke and the guy who played Caesar in Planet of the Apes?
Yes.
That's Andy Serkis.
Andy
There we
Serkis.
go.
Oh,
Gollum.
Andy. Okay,
Gollum.
yeah, boy.
Anyway,
Andy
but
Serkis.
Andy Serkis. Yeah, Andy Serkis. You know what? Well, the only problem is he's already part of the MCU. He was Ulysses Claw.
Yeah.
Actually, what I'm thinking is I'm thinking like somebody. I'm trying to think more kind of. I'm trying to think more like kind of European mystique. Oh man, shoot! I had somebody like, and the other thing is that you kind of want
Daniel Craig as
no
Doctor Doom.
No. Besides, people are already saying, what about Daniel Craig as Wolverine?
Oh
which-
my God, that would. Ooh,
I
like that.
yeah.
I never heard that before. I'm hearing that on
I heard
National
that a while
Comic
ago.
Day. I'm hearing that on
I
National Comic
heard
Day.
that, but I'm thinking. See, the tricky thing here also is that you kind of want him to be contemporary to Reed Richards. So
Yeah.
you want to. So like for example, like I know a lot of people. One of them has been saying John Krasinski from The Office is Reed Richards. So you want
Zac
somebody.
Efron.
No,
Zac Efron.
no. Do not tempt the gods like that. Do not tempt the gods like that.
Right.
I'm thinking more. See, honestly, if he was younger.
Well, he's playing Ted Bundy. He's playing Ted Bundy.
Right. Okay, but as far as actors are concerned, for Doctor Doom, if he was younger, I would say Javier Bardem.
Yeah, I could.
Because he has that. Because also he has. I mean, think about him in No Country for Old Men. Think about his part in Skyfall. He could do that. Like he could do that. That or maybe some. God,
Remember though, he's from Latveria. He has to be
right. But I'm sure
European.
But I'm sure that he could. Another possibility actually, and really, I mean, this would be is maybe I'm thinking maybe Alexander Skarsgård.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah, especially because if you have him pre-scar, then it's like you show him pre-scarring, and then just having him in the Doom armor and that's the key thing though, because in order for this to really work, then he has to be in the Doom armor.
Definitely.
None of this stuff where he can go back and forth. Put him in the freaking armor. I know. The reflex is no. We have this hot guy and Alexander Skarsgård. We're putting him in armor. It's like this is not. I mean, yeah, the lady.
Ryan Reynolds in Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds.
Exactly.
So why not? Why not?
Exactly. I mean, okay, yeah, Deadpool 2. They did a couple of cheats where his face was all healed when he was in the afterlife.
Yeah.
But the thing still stands that. Yeah, Ryan, it's put him in the you do have a flashback where we see him, but the rest of the time, because honestly, that voice of his, you can't tell me that that wouldn't be perfect.
No, that would be perfect. Before we're almost out of time here on Mark Who 42. Yeah. Ed, who is your favorite superhero?
Cap. Team Cap all the way. Team Cap, yeah, especially because I mean, honestly, that if you want to know why Team Cap, I mean, first of all, look at Captain America: The First Avenger when he's when he's still skinny Steve Rogers and he's getting beat up in the alley and he goes, I can do this all day. Look at the Infinity Gauntlet comic when he's standing in front of Thanos and going, as long as one person's still standing, you'll never win. Look at the Korvac saga when. Steve Rogers, the most human guy in that entire battle, is the first person to actually make contact with Korvac and really start giving him a beating. That's why. And just the fact that he is. I mean, honestly, I've always said that. For me, I've always said that if somebody told me you have to write the last Captain America story, for me, I would do like an El Cid moment where you have this great evil force. Captain America, still wounded, but just standing in front of the crowd, raising the shield in the air and just yelling "Avengers Assemble." That's the Cap. The one who just the one who everybody rallies behind.
Okay.
I would honestly send them back to 1945, like right after the war. As
You could do that.
my last Captain America story.
You could do that.
Hey.
And maybe that'll happen. And maybe
that'd be cool.
Anyway, so that's all the time we have for Mark Who 42 this week. Next week we are doing Doctor Who. Mark Who 42 is doing Doctor Who. We are going to talk about William Hartnell's the First Doctor, our favorite characters, the most important characters that appeared in the William Hartnell stories of Doctor Who, including, and we'll talk about the actors who played them, what they've done. So you'll have that next week. Happy National Comic Day that just passed on Sunday.
Superhero Day.
Oh, I'm sorry. Free Comic Day is Saturday.
Free Comic Book Day, yeah.
Saturday. Yeah. Free Comic Books Day is Saturday. So go out to your comic store, support your local comic store, get your free comics.
Well, it's not, it's get your free comics, but also support your store.
Yeah.
If you can pick up something that's not in the free section, pick it up.
Definitely.
Give them some support.
Look around, find some good stuff, because there's plenty. There are, oh my God, there are so many good comic stories, and the graphic novels that they have there, so you don't have to buy the individual comics. You gotta go. Anyway, that's all the time we have for. Bye, everyone. Oh, and go to Facebook, Marku42, and tweet us at Marku42. If you're listening on podcast, go to iTunes, give us 5 stars, and write us a review. Bye, everyone.
By the way, Mark, spoiler alert.
Yes.
Ed Norton and Brad Pitt were the same person.
Whoa.
Oh, no. Bye, everyone. Marku42 has been written and presented by Mark Baumgarten, Trish Freyre, Eduardo M. Freyre, Iggy Matthews, and Zion Quiros. Marku42 has been edited, directed, and produced by Mark Baumgarten. The theme music is by Sam Beckwith. Marku42 is owned and copyrighted by Mark Baumgarten 2019. This is Odyssey Radio.